From the bustling espresso bars of Milan to the quiet filter-brewed traditions in Tokyo, the world is united by a single aromatic ritual. It's the sound of the grinder in the early morning half-light, the rich scent that fills the kitchen, and that first warm sip that seems to signal the true start of the day. Coffee is far more than just a beverage. It's a global phenomenon, a cultural touchstone that connects billions of us. An estimated 2.25 billion cups are consumed every single day across the planet. This dark, invigorating liquid has woven itself into the fabric of our social lives, our workdays, and our quiet moments of reflection. We meet friends for coffee. We grab one to power through a difficult afternoon, and we savor it as a comforting bookend to a fine meal. Its universal appeal is simply undeniable. Think of the traditional Ethiopian coffee ceremony, a lengthy and elaborate social event that signifies hospitality and respect, or consider the Swedish concept of fika, a dedicated break for coffee and a sweet treat designed to foster connection. This drink has a unique ability to create spaces for conversation and camaraderie. It's a social lubricant, an excuse to pause and engage with one another. For many, the act of preparing coffee is a mindful practice in itself, a small, reliable pleasure in a world that can often feel chaotic and unpredictable. It's this blend of personal ritual and social bonding that elevates coffee from a simple drink to a cherished part of our daily existence. But what is it about this particular bean that has captured our collective imagination? The story begins with caffeine, of course. This natural stimulant is the primary reason most of us reach for a cup when we need a jolt of alertness. It works by cleverly blocking adenosine, a neurotransmitter that makes us feel sleepy. This leads to that familiar feeling of increased focus, improved mood, and a welcome surge of energy. When you take that first sip of coffee, a remarkable chain of events is set in motion inside your body. The star of the show, caffeine, is absorbed into your bloodstream with surprising speed, often reaching peak levels within 30 to 60 minutes. It travels to every organ, its most famous destination, the brain. It acts as an imposter, blocking adenosine receptors. This is why you feel more awake and less tired. But its influence doesn't stop there. Pituitary gland responds. Hormones are released, adrenal glands are signaled. Adrenaline, the fight-or-flight hormone. This is the coffee kick. Your heart rate might increase. Your pupils may dilate slightly. Your liver releases sugar into the bloodstream for extra energy. This response can be incredibly useful. Athletes often use caffeine to boost performance. Endurance improves, power output increases, overall athletic prowess improves. A meta-analysis in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found improved muscle strength and improved endurance. For the rest of us, it can mean a productive morning at work or avoiding a struggle to keep your eyes open. It sharpens mental acuity, improves reaction times, and helps concentrate on complex tasks longer. In the short term, coffee is a powerful performance enhancer for mind and body. However, the same mechanism causes downsides. Restlessness, anxiety, the jitters. For those prone to anxiety, a strong cup can trigger nervousness or panic. Effects vary by dose and individual biology. Gentle stimulation for one can be overwhelming for another. Our bodies adapt. Drinking regularly, the brain creates more adenosine receptors. This is the basis of tolerance. For many years, the conversation around coffee and health was almost entirely focused on caffeine. We debated its stimulating effects and worried about its potential to disrupt sleep. But this narrow focus caused us to overlook a treasure trove of other compounds hiding within the humble coffee bean. It turns out that coffee is one of the single biggest sources of antioxidants in the Western diet, outranking even fruits and vegetables for many people. These powerful compounds, primarily in the form of polyphenols, chlorogenic acid melanoidins, formed during roasting, are crucial for protecting our bodies from damage. They are the unsung heroes of your morning cup, working quietly in the background to support your long-term health. Imagine your body is constantly under attack from rogue molecules called free radicals. These are unstable atoms that can damage cells, proteins, your DNA. This process, known as oxidative stress, is linked to aging and a host of chronic diseases, including heart disease and certain cancers. Antioxidants are like a cellular defense force. They patrol your body, neutralizing these harmful free radicals before they can cause significant damage. By drinking coffee, you are essentially calling in reinforcements for this defense force every single day. The high concentration of these protective compounds may be one key reason modern research links regular coffee consumption with positive health outcomes. Chlorogenic acid, for instance, is abundant in unroasted green coffee beans and still present in significant amounts after roasting. Research suggests it may help regulate blood sugar by slowing carbohydrate absorption in the digestive tract. This could contribute to the observed link between coffee drinking and a lower risk of type 2 diabetes. Other compounds like cafestol and ca-whale, found in unfiltered coffee, have been studied for anti-inflammatory properties. Inflammation is another key driver of chronic disease, so any dietary component that helps keep it in check is a big bonus for overall well-being. It's important to remember the antioxidant content of your coffee can vary. The level of these beneficial compounds is influenced by the type of coffee bean, degree of roast, and brewing method. Lighter roasts tend to retain more chlorogenic acid than very dark roasts. However, roasting also creates other antioxidant compounds, so it's not as simple as saying one is definitively better. The key takeaway, regardless of your preferred style, your daily coffee provides a significant and delicious dose of cell-protecting molecules. It's a pleasant thought as you savor your next brew. You're not just waking up, you're actively arming your body against cellular damage. Beyond the immediate buzz of alertness, a growing body of evidence suggests that a long-term coffee habit could be one of the best things you do for your brain. The research in this area is incredibly exciting, pointing towards a protective effect against some of the most devastating neurodegenerative diseases of our time. Multiple large-scale observational studies have found a remarkably consistent link between regular coffee consumption and a significantly lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. This isn't just a minor correlation. Some studies have reported risk reductions of up to 65% for Alzheimer's, and between 30 and 60% for Parkinson's among moderate coffee drinkers compared to non-drinkers. This suggests something powerful is happening inside the brains of coffee drinkers over decades. The mechanisms behind this protective effect are still being unraveled, but scientists have several leading theories. For Parkinson's disease, which is characterized by the loss of dopamine-producing neurons, caffeine itself seems to play a direct role. By interacting with the same adenosine receptors we discussed earlier, caffeine appears to have a protective effect on these specific dopamine pathways in the brain. For Alzheimer's, the picture is more complex. It's likely a combination of factors. The powerful antioxidants in coffee help to reduce the inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain that are thought to contribute to the disease. Furthermore, some studies suggest that caffeine may help to prevent the buildup of beta-amyloid plaques, the sticky protein clumps that are a hallmark of the Alzheimer's brain. But the benefits aren't just about staving off disease in old age. Coffee can have a more immediate and positive impact on your mood and mental well-being. That mood lift you feel after your morning cup isn't just your imagination. By boosting the activity of neurotransmitters like dopamine serotonin, coffee can have a mild antidepressant effect. A large study from the Harvard School of Public Health, for instance, found that women who drank 4 or more cups of coffee per day had a 20% lower risk of depression than those who drank little or no coffee. This isn't to say that coffee is a cure for clinical depression, but it does suggest that for many people, it can be a helpful tool for maintaining a more positive and stable mood throughout the day. Of course, it's crucial to approach these findings with a balanced perspective. These studies show a strong correlation, not necessarily a direct causation. However, the sheer consistency of the findings across so many different populations, combined with the plausible biological mechanisms we are discovering, makes a compelling case. The idea that this simple daily ritual could be acting as a long-term shield for our most vital organ is a truly remarkable one. For decades, coffee was viewed with suspicion when it came to heart health. It can temporarily increase heart rate and blood pressure. That led many to assume long-term harm. Patients with heart conditions were often told to give it up completely. But recent high-quality research has flipped that advice. Far from being a villain, moderate coffee consumption now appears to be beneficial for the heart for most people. Large meta-analyses have painted a surprisingly positive picture. They show a lower risk of cardiovascular disease, stroke, and heart failure. One big study in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology used UK Biobank data, nearly 500,000 people over a decade. It found drinking 2 to 3 cups per day was linked to reduced risk. Ground coffee, instant coffee, decaffeinated coffee. The study also found a lower risk of death from any cause. The lowest risk was seen in those drinking 2 to 3 cups daily. This suggests benefits aren't only from caffeine. Decaf drinkers also saw positive effects. That points to other compounds like antioxidants, protecting our circulatory system. How does coffee achieve this? The mechanisms are multifaceted. The anti-inflammatory polyphenols in coffee are likely a major factor. Chronic inflammation is a key driver of atherosclerosis. Some compounds may also improve endothelial function, helping vessels to relax and contract more effectively. Coffee is also linked to a lower risk of type 2 diabetes. Diabetes is itself a major risk factor for heart disease. By helping regulate blood sugar and insulin sensitivity, coffee indirectly protects the heart. However, a note of caution: the way you prepare your coffee matters. Unfiltered coffee, French press, cafetiere, Turkish-style coffee. These unfiltered methods contain higher levels of diterpenes, café stol, and kawale. While they have some benefits, these compounds can raise LDL, the bad cholesterol. If you have cholesterol concerns, switch to filtered coffee, paper filter in a drip machine or pour over. The paper filter traps most of those diterpenes. For most people, moderate coffee is safe, but filtering is a simple tweak for those managing heart health proactively. Despite the impressive list of health benefits, it would be irresponsible to ignore the potential downsides of our coffee habit. Nothing in nutrition is ever entirely black or white, and coffee is no exception. The most obvious risk comes from overconsumption. 2 to 3 cups a day is a common sweet spot. Pushing far beyond that can lead to caffeineism. Chronic anxiety, persistent restlessness, muscle tremors, a racing heart, palpitations, significant gastrointestinal upset. It's the body's way of saying you've overloaded the system. For most adults, the safe upper limit is about 400 milligrams of caffeine per day. That's roughly 4 standard cups of brewed coffee. Certain groups need to be cautious. Pregnant women, for example, are advised to limit consumption. The NHS recommends a cap of 200 milligrams per day during pregnancy. Caffeine can cross the placenta. The developing fetus metabolizes it much more slowly. Some studies link high caffeine to higher miscarriage risk and low birth weight. When risks, however small, outweigh benefits, caution is wise. Always discuss caffeine intake with your doctor or midwife. Another factor is genetic makeup. Some people can drink espresso after dinner and sleep fine. Others feel jittery after one morning cup. It's not in their heads, it's in their genes. A gene controls production of an enzyme in the liver called CYP1A2. Fast metabolizers break down caffeine quickly and usually avoid negative effects. Slow metabolizers clear caffeine slowly, effects last longer and can be more intense. For them, even moderate coffee can cause sleep disruption, increased risk of high blood pressure, and some research suggests higher risk of heart attacks. Finally, coffee can directly affect the digestive system for some people, causing acid reflux, heartburn, GERD, and acting as a laxative by stimulating colon contractions. One of the most well-known and immediate consequences of drinking coffee is its impact on our sleep. The very mechanism that makes coffee so effective at waking us up, blocking adenosine, is precisely what can sabotage a good night's rest. Adenosine is the chemical that builds up in our brain throughout the day, creating sleep pressure that makes us feel tired in the evening. By blocking its effects, caffeine can significantly delay the onset of sleep, reduce the total amount of sleep we get, and disrupt the quality of that sleep. It particularly seems to reduce the amount of deep, slow-wave sleep we get, which is crucial for physical recovery and memory consolidation. You might fall asleep eventually, but you wake up feeling unrefreshed. The timing of your last cup of coffee is absolutely critical due to caffeine's long half-life. The half-life of a substance is the time it takes for the body to eliminate half of it. For caffeine, this is typically around 5 to 6 hours for the average adult, but it can be much longer for slow metabolizers. This means that if you have a cup of coffee at 3 p.m., by 9 p.m., half of that caffeine could still be circulating in your system, actively working to keep you awake. That's equivalent to drinking half a cup of coffee right before bed. To protect your sleep, a good rule of thumb is to establish a strict caffeine curfew for at least 8 hours before their intended bedtime. The relationship between coffee and stress is also complex. In the short term, the adrenaline rush from caffeine can help you perform under pressure, sharpening your focus for a deadline or a presentation. However, relying on coffee to constantly push through stressful periods can backfire. Caffeine stimulates the release of cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. If you are already in a state of chronic stress, adding high doses of caffeine into the mix can amplify the physiological stress response. This can lead to heightened feelings of anxiety, irritability, and a sense of being perpetually wired and tired. This is where the jitters come in. That shaky, anxious feeling is a classic sign that you've crossed your personal caffeine threshold, and it's your body's clear signal to slow down. Side by side, a plain black coffee on the left, an elaborate whipped cream-topped caramel latte on the right. When we discuss the health benefits of coffee, we are generally referring to a simple cup of black coffee, brewed from ground beans with hot water. This humble beverage contains almost no calories, no sugar, and no fat. However, the reality for millions of coffee drinkers is vastly different. The modern coffee shop menu is a dazzling array of elaborate concoctions that can turn a simple, healthy drink into a dessert in a cup. Flavored lattes, whipped cream-topped mochas, caramel frappes, seasonal specials. These often contain staggering amounts of sugar, saturated fat, and calories. A standard large caramel macchiato can easily contain over 50 grams of sugar, more than the entire recommended daily limit for an adult. A single one of these drinks can pack anywhere from 300 to 500 calories, which is equivalent to a small meal. Consuming these beverages regularly can contribute to weight gain, increase the risk of type 2 diabetes, and cause other metabolic problems. You might think you're just having a coffee, but from a nutritional standpoint, you're having a liquid cake. It's a classic example of a health halo where the goodness of one ingredient, coffee, makes us overlook the unhealthiness of everything else added to it. The culprits are the syrups, sauces, whipped creams, and even the type of milk used. It's crucial to be a mindful consumer. Don't be afraid to ask for fewer pumps of syrup, choose skimmed or plant-based milk, and perhaps skip the whipped cream topping. This doesn't mean you can never enjoy a decadent coffee treat. Life is about balance and enjoyment after all. If your routine involves a simple black coffee, or a coffee with a splash of milk, you are well positioned to reap the health rewards we've discussed. So, after journeying through the science, the risks, and the benefits, the overwhelming weight of modern evidence points in a positive direction. For most people, coffee is more of a friend than a foe. The key word is moderation. The sweet spot seems to be 2 to 4 cups per day, about 400 milligrams of caffeine max. Listen to your body. If you feel anxious, jittery, or have trouble sleeping, you're likely drinking too much or too late. Certain groups need extra caution. Pregnant women, people with anxiety disorders, those with sensitive stomachs, and slow caffeine metabolizers. If you have high cholesterol, choose paper-filtered coffee over unfiltered to protect heart health. Ultimately, coffee can be a healthy part of a balanced lifestyle. A source of pleasure, a tool for focus, and potentially a guardian of long-term health. The secret isn't the bean, but how we use it. Be mindful of quantity, timing, and additions. So go ahead, brew that next cup, savor the aroma, and enjoy it, safe in the knowledge it's one of life's healthier pleasures.